How's it going, everyone? I'm Matt from Universal Audio, and today I'm going to show you how to get started with OX Stomp. OX Stomp is a dynamic speaker and microphone emulator that expands your current amp modeler with a huge range of perfectly mic'd guitar cabs, complete with authentic room modeling, speaker breakup, and a mobile app that lets you access a ton of other features and effects. It's compatible with any amp modeler, whether it be a UAFX amp in a box pedal like Dream, Ruby, or Woodrow, or any other third-party amp emulator. Now, it's important to note that even though they share a name, OX Stomp is very different from the original aux. The original aux is an attenuator that's meant to be used with the powered output from your amplifier, whereas OX Stomp is meant to be used with line-level sources like the output of an amp emulator or a line output from your real amp. Now, if you already have a UAFX amp pedal, you already have some of these speaker and microphone emulations, but OX Stomp gives you a ton more options to choose from, plus the ability to switch between different combinations on the fly, save and recall presets, and add studio quality effects like reverb, delay, EQ, and compression. Now, before you get started with OX Stomp, make sure to download the UAFX Control App on your phone or iPad so you can register your pedal and access all of the other features that the app has to offer. You're also going to want to download the UA Connect application on your Mac or Windows computer so you can install firmware updates if needed. To connect your amp modeler to OX Stomp, you're going to want to take the main outputs from your modeler and connect them to OX Stomp's inputs. OX Stomp features true stereo input and output, so any stereo width that you have going into the pedal will be maintained on the output. OX Stomp also does mono to stereo, so you can send a mono signal into it, widen it using the mic panning, stereo room mics, and effects, and have stereo at the output of the pedal. Once you make your connections, it's super important that you disable the built-in speaker emulation on your amp modeler. Now, this varies depending on the type of amp modeler that you're using. On UAFX pedals, you just push the speaker switch up until the LED turns off. To see how to do this on other third-party modelers, check out our YouTube channel. Next, let's take a look at the controls on OX Stomp. Probably the most important knob on the pedal is this rig knob right in the middle. This lets you switch between 6 pre-selected rig presets, which are combinations of speaker cabinets, microphones, and effects. Now let's go ahead and take a listen to an example, and I'll switch between the 6 rig presets that I already have loaded in my pedal and listen to how much the tone changes just by turning this one knob. There's also a few microphone controls on the OX Stomp pedal. There's 2 switches that let you choose between dynamic, condenser, and ribbon mics, and then knobs that let you set the level of each mic. Now, with the UAFX Control App, you can also access a bunch of other microphone settings like EQ and panning. For now, let's go ahead and take a listen to what the mics sound like just using the options that are selectable from the pedal. Now next we have the room knob, which controls the level of the room mics. This knob is really great for adding some realistic space to the signal. Let's go ahead and hear what it sounds like. Next to the room knob, we have the speaker drive knob, which controls OX Stomp's dynamic speaker modeling. At lower settings, the speakers sound brand new, but as you turn the knob up, the speakers start to get softer and spongier with more breakup, just like a broken-in speaker. Now, the effect can be more obvious or subtle depending on which speaker cabinet you choose and how you play into it. Let's go ahead and hear an example of how it sounds on this particular rig preset. The final knob on OX Stomp is the output knob, which just sets the final output level from the pedal. That covers all the parameters on the pedal itself, so now let's open up the UAFX Control App where we can access a bunch of other features for OX Stomp. When you first open the app, you'll see the rig assignment screen where you can load 6 different presets into the rig slots. To change one of the presets loaded, go ahead and click the arrow to the right of the preset name. This takes you to the preset selection screen where all the presets are organized by speaker cabinet. Just go ahead and click on one of the preset names to load that preset into the selected rig slot. Now when I go back to the rig screen, I'll see that preset loaded into slot 1. Back on the rig assignment screen, you'll notice one of these presets has a small A next to it, and another preset has a small B next to it. This shows you the 2 presets that are currently loaded into the 2 foot switches on OX Stomp. So I currently have the A foot switch enabled. If I press on one of these presets, it'll load it into the A slot. Then if I press the B foot switch, I can select a different preset to load it into that slot. And now I can switch between those 2 presets using the foot switches on OX Stomp. Now if you want to be able to switch between more than 2 presets from the foot switches on OX Stomp, go to the settings page in the app and click on the foot switch mode menu. There's a bunch of different foot switch modes here, but this third option, A, B, and C, D, will let you switch between 4 different presets from the foot switches. Now if I go back to the rig assignment screen, I'll now see A, B, C, and D letters, and I can assign those just like I showed you before. There's also a bunch of other foot switch modes that you can choose from on the settings page. For example, if you want to be able to disable and enable the effects from the foot switches, or if you want a combination of switching between presets and controlling the effects. Now we can also edit these presets by swapping out different speaker cabinets, microphones, and effects by selecting the preset and then clicking the edit button at the bottom. Now at the top of the screen, we can swap out different speaker cabinets, and this probably has the biggest overall impact on your tone. There's 3 different categories where the speaker cabinets are divided up by size. Let's go ahead and audition a few of them and see what they sound like. Now below the speaker cabinet selection, we can swap out the 2 microphones. We have 2 dynamic mics to choose from, 2 condenser mics, and 2 ribbon mics. If we click the arrow next to each mic selection, you can also access controls for level and panning, as well as low cut and off axis. And there's also dedicated EQ for each microphone. Let's go ahead and audition some of the different microphone options. Now if we scroll down, we also have controls for the room mics where we can choose between stereo condensers, stereo ribbons, as well as a few different mono options. If we click the arrow, we can also adjust level, panning, and the room EQ. There's also buttons for low cut and damp, which just shortens the decay of the room. Now below the room mic controls, we have the effects section where we can adjust the EQ, compressor, delay, and reverb. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn off all these effects so we can hear just the dry, and I'll add them in one at a time so you can hear what they sound like. After you make any changes to a preset, you can save it as a new preset by clicking the 3 dots in the bottom right corner and selecting Save a Copy. Any presets that you save will show up under the User tab on the preset selection screen. So that covers everything you need to know to get started with OX Stomp. For more info, make sure to check out the product manuals at help.uaudio.com, and to see how to set up OX Stomp with other third-party amp modelers, check out our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.